Welcome to the PBC 2020 NBA Draft Remote Film Room. My name is Jon Chepkevich, Director of Scouting for the PBC, and joining me today is a 2020 NBA Draft early entrant, SMU's Feron Hunt. What's going on, man?
How you doing?
Hey, doing pretty well. How about yourself? Holding up okay during the quarantine?
Yes, sir. Just trying to keep my hands washed and stay away from everybody at all times.
That's the move right now, man. That's all you can do. Just stay healthy. And, as we're sort of limited in the on-court stuff we can do at this point in time, wanted to kind of take this opportunity to spin it up a little bit and do something different here. And we're just going to go through some of your game film from this past season. You really kind of burst onto the scene as an intriguing, kind of under the radar NBA prospect and continued to improve throughout the year. So we want to just kind of go through some of your strengths that you bring to the table, what translates cleanly to the next level, maybe a couple minor areas to work on, and just kind of talk through the game film. Does that sound good?
Yes, sir.
All right. So we're going to start here with the offensive side of the ball and some of the strengths that you bring to the table. And everyone knows that, the athleticism pops off the screen, right? Anyone who watches your game sees, you're long and you can get up and make stuff happen. But we want to focus on some of the other intriguing aspects of your game on the offensive end, especially off the bounce. So we'll start with this first clip here. You catch this out top, and you want to maybe just talk me through here what you're seeing and, kind of how you approach attacking this guy. It seems like he's a little off balance here, right?
Yeah, well, see, whenever we run a C slot and the big, low shows, or he just stays and try to stay on KD, I know, by the time he gets back, I'll have a straight line drive to the goal.
Yeah.
Or if not, you can see how the corner man, he bluffed Booknight, he bluffed from his man to come and take me. KD can also throw the lob to him. So if he throws it to me, I have either that pass to Emmanuel or I have a straight line drive.
Right, exactly. This whole side of the court sort of opens up for you after that. You do an awesome job of attacking this guy here, and then that's just an awesome little up and under kind of ball fake there. And I've noticed this a lot in going through your clips. You're, I think, an 84th percentile finisher in college basketball around the basket on non-post ups. And a lot of it is from, driving and attacking the rim from the outside and then kind of, having this wide array of little nifty, crafty moves around the rim like this. You want to maybe speak to your ability to kind of throw guys off like that and get an easy finish for yourself around the rim?
Well, the coaching staff at SMU, we've been working on a lot with me just being able to stop in the paint, because a lot of people are trying to take charges because they know I'm so athletic and I want to dunk the ball a lot.
Yeah.
So we've just been working on coming to a stop into the paint. And once you get that down, it's kind of hard to stop, once I get in there, because it's easy for me because I have good touch around the rim.
Yeah, exactly. You've got great touch, and it's just, everyone thinks of, all the dunks and the pop and the athleticism, but I think it's how your nimble feet and your craft and your ability to shake guys off like this that has kind of stood out and digging further into the tape. So we're going to move on to the next clip here, this time against Georgetown. You're taking Yurtsevin off the bounce here, and I think this is an NBA move. So once we run this back to the top here, you see maybe you have a little bit of a quickness mismatch here, right? Like Yurtsevin's a good player, but kind of more of a big man, and you've got that quickness advantage on him. So you want to maybe speak to what your mindset is and when you're attacking a guy off the bounce that you have a speed and quickness advantage against?
Well, I actually love when coach plays this lineup, because we can go really small and we have mismatches all over the floor. So with me and Isaiah, we usually have the two slowest people guarding us, and they'll most likely put the 5-man on me. So that is an automatic switch in my head. I'm going to him. So right here, I see Isaiah was moving. He's going to move out the way, and I just knew I had a mismatch. He's just too slow, so I had to take advantage of that.
Yeah, and you have really good handles for your size, right? Like you get up here, you cross him over right to left, kind of stop in this little mid-range area. Seems like he might have you contained right here, right? Like he actually moves his feet and does a nice job. But do you want to maybe speak to, what you saw here that kind of led you to doing this 1 foot little fadeaway?
Kevin Durant.
Is that it? Is that a guy that you kind of study his game and see how he's able to create shots in almost any circumstance?
Yeah, my favorite player, my GOAT.
Yeah, and I mean that, this attempt here is kind of reminiscent of KD or a Dirk kind of mid-range fadeaway, right? The little 1 foot there, and you just create enough space to get this up over a really big defender. Nice, clean look. Is that something that you work on with the coaching staff as well, as your kind of footwork and versatility? And, if your driving lane does get cut off, that you can counter with these kind of, creative mid-range pull-ups?
Oh, yeah, we work on that at least 20 minutes before practice even gets started.
Yeah, that's huge, man. I mean, obviously you're a huge threat going into the rim, but being able to sort of counter with something as creative as this, that's going to just open up so many more things for you at the next level, because they have to respect you at multiple levels, right?
Yes, sir.
Cool. So we'll move on to the next clip here. This time, let's see how this is developing. You're in the corner over here. You catch this out on the wing, and you want to maybe talk through, what you're seeing in this situation.
I'm actually kind of mad because I stole Everett's layup. If I would have rolled up, there would have been no tag, and Everett would have been able to get a layup. But I don't know what I was thinking. See how the tag right there? Yeah, if I would have rolled up, I would have gave me a wide open 3 if he would have stayed there and tagged, or he would have followed me and Everett would have been wide open, or Tyson would have been open right here because we got the screen right here with Zay. So I'm kind of mad I did that. But right here, I just rolled up, and like when I have most 4 men on me, they're just too slow. So
yeah,
I'm always in attack mode when I see somebody who I feel like not fast enough.
Yeah. So you take him off the bounce to the left here. No help comes over. Just easy finish there. Like you said, got the quickness advantage, right? This guy can't open up his hips quick enough and recover to you. And you use your length to kind of get there in just a couple dribbles.
Yeah.
And I really like what you were speaking to earlier in that, this play ends up being a positive result for you guys, right? But you still kind of have that recognition that, as this play sort of developed, there was something that you maybe could have done a little bit better, right? Like you still ended up scoring when it was all said and done, but having the wherewithal to recognize the situation here and know that maybe if you would have popped up, it would have just been an easy dunk for your teammate or wide open 3 for you. I think being able to decipher that in the film, despite the positive outcome, is a really good indicator of your understanding of the game.
Right.
Next one here. So you pop out to the corner. Now we got to get some of the athleticism in here, right? Like this is just a monster finish, but it's initiated with a little sort of drive and kick action, right? So you're coming through on the baseline. Your guy draws some help here. You want to maybe speak through, what your look is here when you're kind of going to be wide open in the corner. Are you anticipating them closing out hard to you and kind of ready to attack that closeout?
Yeah, with this team, they were closing out hard. They played like kind of unorthodox kind of defense and offense. They were really weird when we played them. But right here, I saw I had enough space to go baseline, and I like the baseline.
Yeah.
So the first move, I hit him with like a Jason Tatum shimmy. I call it, like when I just moved the ball like right here.
Yeah.
I was able to get a little separation, and then with one dribble, I'm there. So, and I saw the man at the baseline. He didn't come quick enough to try and take a charge or block it. So I was just like, yeah, this is a dunk.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing I was going to point out is like, hey, this number 10 here, I mean, I understand that's a business decision there. He's not trying to get dunked right on, right? Like if I was him, I wouldn't be coming the whole way over there. He's going to get a knee to the chest if he comes the whole way across.
Yeah, somebody did that later in the game. I checked on somebody.
Yeah, no, I mean, I like you pointing out the Jason Tatum shimmy too, right? It seems like you seem to study some NBA guys that have excelled with, some similar aspects to their game and kind of try to, model very small parts of what make them such good players and implement that into your game. Is that right?
Oh, yeah. I'm watching film almost every day. Like I'll try and watch Jason Tatum, Kevin Durant, Paul George. I like Trevor Ariza a lot.
Yeah. So kind of these big wings, right? Like the big wings that can do a little bit of everything, right?
Yeah.
Is that the archetype that you kind of foresee yourself filling when you, make your way to the pros?
I hope so. I mean, I don't want to put any limitations on myself. I'm just trying to get better every day. But I just watch a lot of players who are doing really good in the league, in my opinion, and I just kind of feed off that. That makes me want to go harder in the gym, things like that.
Yeah, for sure. And you have a kind of similar build to those guys. I mean, KD's like a weird specimen. He's a different type of thing, but like in general, the Paul George, the Tatums and the Rizas, like you mentioned, you have a kind of similar build to your game, and being able to kind of steal tidbits off of those guys, I think is, a really good thing to consider as you're developing and growing as a player. So definitely like to hear that.
Yeah.
So moving on, we'll watch this dunk one more time. There you go. Moving on to the next play. So you're matched up against East Carolina here. We'll let this one develop. So you got a little horns action here, right?
Yeah.
You pop out to the top, little behind the back pass to you. So what is it? You kind of start dribbling between the legs. Looks like you're ready to ISO this guy. Are you, again, just based on the scouting report, do you feel confident in your ability to kind of take this guy off the bounce? And are you, anytime that you end up being on the weak side of the horn set, are you ready to pop up to the top and attack?
Yeah. Whatever game in conference we're playing, whenever I get the ball against a 4-man, I'm always in attack mode because I know like they're not quick enough. So right here, I had told Coach Jenk like in a timeout, I think before this, I was like, "Look, Coach, I don't think he's moving fast enough for me.
Yeah.
Or guard me." So I just went at him, and I was able to get into the paint, like I said, and stop because I know if I like try and take off, they'll be right there trying to alter my shot.
Yeah.
So the back foot stop is really helpful to me because it gets them off balance, and I can just really lay it up really easy around the rim.
Yeah, really great footwork there. And I like how you kind of spoke to your confidence to recognize a mismatch and voice that to your coach, right? Because some guys can be a little passive in that regard and not willing to kind of, as a sophomore, like speak up and, let your coach know like, hey, I see this out on the court. I recognize this mismatch. Keep coming to me. Let me keep taking advantage of it. And so I like that you're able to voice that, recognize it, and then capitalize on it right here.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're going to move on to a potential improvement area on the offensive end, and we're just focusing on your hands here, right? Like you're a good coordinated athlete, but I think maybe sometimes what might be happening, and you can correct me if I'm wrong because I might be reading into this incorrectly, but sometimes that one might not have been the best pass, right? But still, I think as we run through these 3 plays here, might be some times where you get a little bit ahead of yourself and, knowing that you're probably going to get a look for a dunk, maybe a poster here, and like get a little ahead of yourself thinking what's coming next and maybe miss the easy catch. Is that something that maybe, you've noticed in another instance here where it's not necessarily totally missing the catch, but just being strong with the ball too? Is that something you think that you could work on and maybe brush up and eliminate maybe 1 turnover per game?
Oh, yeah, I'm always looking for improvement. I should have caught the pass that Emmanuel threw to me, or I don't know if that was Tyson. Tyson threw this one. I was trying to think about how I was going to dunk it. I swear.
Yeah, and understandable when you're such a strong player, right? But
yeah.
But yeah, just, not like a major weakness or anything, just something, you're always trying to find a minor way to improve your game. This is just one thing that as I was digging through these clips that kind of stood out as something to, maybe brush up on and just make sure if you can do that, it'll just eliminate a turnover here and there and make you all that much more efficient.
Right.
So we'll move on now to the defensive side of the ball and kind of focus on what translates cleanly for you on that end. And, I think as we let this first clip run here against Cincinnati, one thing that stood out definitely is that these guys down in the post, like we've touched on how on offense you can create mismatches by being quicker and more athletic than these kind of bulkier 4s and 5s, right? And maybe sometimes they think that they have an advantage on you on the other end because they're a little like bulkier, that they might be able to post you up and back you down, right? Do you see that happening sometimes?
Oh, yeah. That Houston trying to come at me like 3 plays in a row. The first half, right out the tip, they try to come at me.
Right. And like do you kind of take that as a little bit of a challenge and try to show them like, hey, you're not going to be able to play bully ball against me. Like I'm strong. I might not be like the bulkiest dude, but I have that core strength and like strong legs and can hold you back.
And my heart big. I'm not scared of nobody. So when you come in at me, like I'm not going to get scared. I'm not going to back down. Like I accept the challenge.
Yeah, and I've definitely noticed that in the tape here. So starts trying to back you down here. You're really fighting, holding position here, which you really like to see. Takes like 3 or 4 dribbles, tries to pivot a couple times. You force him into a really tough look and end up pulling down the board. So do you, I guess, you know, like you did a good job holding up against this. Are you just really pumped up and satisfied when you can get a guy to take a really difficult look like this and force him into a contested mid-range?
Yeah, that's not his game. That's not his game. That wasn't on the scout report. Turnaround Jays. That wasn't on his scout report. But he's a really good player. I thought he was going to drop step baseline because I was giving him the baseline.
Yeah.
And he shot a turnaround Jay. But I was satisfied with that. It was a stop, and we needed one, looked like, with the scoreboard right here.
Exactly. Yeah. Game and situation. Like you guys are off to a tough start here, and you come up and step up and make a big play for your team to make sure it doesn't get extended to double digits. So, you know, really nice job there. And ultimately, you know, when you get to the next level, there's going to be a lot of really skilled offensive players that sometimes they're going to make tough shots, but ultimately you have to live with, you know, forcing guys into difficult looks. It's not always going to be a block or a steal. It's going to be forcing them to take a tough shot, and you do a great job of forcing those, you know, low percentage attempts.
Right.
Next clip here, you're matched up against UNLV. I mean, this block is just ridiculous. Well, let's run this one back and kind of, you know, decipher what's going on in this play and what you're reading before you get up there and pop up and make the block. So they're coming around. So it looks like, let me rewind this a little bit more, actually, see the whole thing develop, and we'll pause it early on. So it looks like you guys are kind of trying to call out who you're guarding here, maybe speak through, like you're pointing out this way, see a little bit of a pick and roll coming in the secondary break. You want to speak through kind of what's happening here?
Well, right here, we're in transition, so we're calling out. Ethan has the big man at the top of the key, and I have the guy who's setting the screen, the first drag screen.
Right.
So I think, if I'm not mistaken, CJ is supposed to be on the midline, but he might have been running out because he could just swing back and pass it. So, like, maybe 2 plays before this, the big man who's about to get the ball, he blocked my shot. So I was like, okay, I got to get him back. So that was going through my mind when I saw him catch the ball, and I just had to meet him at the top of the rim.
Right. So, like, in this situation, so what you're saying is, like, this guy probably could have stayed in, help a little bit more, right?
He could have sat right there on the midline because he's dribbling all the way over here.
Yeah.
So he was able to stay. I could have stayed on my man who was a pick and pop, and then took the tag, and I would have had his help on this throwback pass right here. I would have been at the elbow.
Yeah, exactly. So you do a good job of recognizing that the midline's open here. This guy's rolling to the rim. And, I mean, if you pause it right here, it seems kind of crazy that you're able to cover that much ground and get there for the block, right? But as we let it roll, you have really good closing speed here, and you see you're kind of already leaping into your gather step there.
Yeah.
Just time it perfectly and kind of high point it and smack it off the backboard, get your revenge block, get him back from that previous possession, and then get a transition opportunity to go on the other way. So you take away a high efficiency look and then probably create an opportunity for one going the other way. Just a huge play in the game, right?
Right.
And this one, you're up by 4 with 5 minutes left. Again, just, you know, ultimately a crucial moment in the game. Really impressive play there.
Right. Yeah,
Next one here, Jacksonville State. So this time you're kind of dropping a little bit and they throw an errant pass, but you kind of have the recognition here to, after you drop, kind of see that this point guard's contained, kind of panicking, and then it seems like you use your length to get your hand out there, disrupt it, get an opportunity going the other way. Do you, I guess, you know, you want to speak to maybe when you are in the pick and roll and covering the roll man, like what your read is in this situation and how you ended up ultimately jumping out and making the steal?
Well, on this scout report, when we played this team, it was a low show, so he wasn't a pick and pop kind of guy. He was all get to the basket.
Yeah.
So I just dropped and let E-Man get under the screen.
Right.
And when I saw I could get back, I saw he was about to pass it. And coach is really like hard on us about like fishing and missing or like gambling and not getting the steal because, you know, then the dominoes fall.
Sure.
I just felt real confident about getting the steal. And I had told President Bush before that I was going to get him a dunk. So.
Wait, say that again?
President Bush, like he's at our games.
Yeah.
I had told him like right before I came out at halftime, he was like, "Can you give me a dunk or a steal?" And I said, "I got you." And so like, the first play, maybe the first possession on defense, we got one.
Yeah, I mean, this is a minute into the half. You got to live up to a promise to a former president, right? You can't just say that and not make it happen.
Oh yeah, for sure. I had to. That's my guy.
Yeah, and then I mean, we don't have the dunk to end this footage, but I can guarantee this ends in a saucy dunk on the other end, especially if the Prez is looking on, right?
Yeah, he's right there, of course.
That's awesome, man. So next one here, we got Georgia. Little post-up action here. And, you know, this is kind of straightforward, again, like that first one, but this is another guy who probably thinks he's got a little bit of a post-up advantage on you. What's the scouting report here? What are you anticipating here that kind of leads you to playing him the way you do and ultimately forcing up this tough shot?
Right here, I was just trying to say stay solid. I had the switch, and Everett was originally supposed to be guarding him, or Zay Mike, but I mean, I took the challenge again. You know, he's a really good player. He can shoot threes, and he can score around the rim, and he can put it on the floor. So I was just trying to stay as solid as I could and make it as tough as I could for him. Yeah,
and it seems like he's trying to kind of get over the right shoulder here, get a little hook shot in the lane, and if we pause it right here, your positioning here is as good as you can hope for, right? Like you slide over, stay right in him, and then stay totally vertical. He tries to draw some contact, but you're not having it. Force up a tough look and then pull down the board. Quick outlet. Just really nicely done. And then this one, we've got Dejan Giroux kind of coming down in transition, who's a really crafty, wiry, kind of herky-jerky player, right? So kind of tough to stick in transition. But you do an awesome job here moving your feet, recovering, and then sending that packing the other way. Do you feel like sometimes these guards in transition kind of feel like they might be able to get a step and get around you to the rim and you're able to kind of lure them and bait them into putting something up and then sending it packing?
Yeah, I like when they think they can like get to the cup and then have like, oh, I can hurry up to slip it in here. That's when I like get a chance to block it. So like right here, I was glad like he did that because it was going the other way.
Yeah, and I feel like at your size, you're what, like 6'8"?
Yeah, I'm 6'8".
Yeah, so you're like 6'8". A lot of these guards that are, 6'3", 6'4", think they might have a quickness advantage on you and be able to pull this off. But oftentimes you're as quick as a lot of these guys, and then you're 6'8" with like what's your wingspan? It's got to be close to 7 feet, right?
I think I'm like 7'1" if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so like you have the athleticism and the recovery speed and recovery length to kind of, prevent these easy looks in transition, which is a huge translatable skill for the next level.
Right.
And now we're going to just touch on one minor improvement area on the defensive end, and this is with closeouts, right? So some of these might be a game situation scouting report thing, so you might not have necessarily been in the wrong in this specific moment, right? So you're up by 19 here against Hartford. Maybe this guy's not an elite shooter, so maybe you live with this, but just giving him quite a bit of space here, right? And ends up sticking this one. We'll see something similar with these next two clips here. So you're up a ton in this one as well, and end up kind of giving this guy a little bit easy of a pull-up mid-range look here. Drives into the elbow, gets to his spot, puts up an easy one. Do you think, maybe some of these are just kind of game situation and scouting report that you end up living with these? And do you think this is something that these closeouts on perimeter, kind of stretchy bigs, is something that, while some of these guys might not have been as much of a threat in these games, that, when you go to the next level, a lot of these guys that are playing the 4 or even the 5 are going to be able to stick it? Is that something that you've got to be cognizant of going forward?
Oh yeah, I think I just need to, like last year, I can't, like this year I'm going to not try and take any plays off and try and play hard every play. The first play that we played against Hartford when the short closeout, that was more of a scouting report thing. The second one, I actually got grilled out in film for just not, playing hard enough. Testament to my coach. And I let him shoot an uncontested mid-range. And just one of the things, you got to make it tough. They're going to make shots. Like, it's a game of basketball. Sometimes it's better offense, good defense. So just trying to improve on every way I can. On the defensive end, for sure, I just want to be as active as possible because, it'll make it hard for the opponent sometimes.
For sure. And I think these stretchy 4s and 5s, like, I think that you could stand to kind of get up in their grill a little bit because you're athletic enough that, if they do end up trying to drive or take you off the bounce on the closeout, like we saw in some of these other clips, like, you'll probably be more athletic than some of those guys and you'll be able to recover and kind of cut them off. So, preventing these guys from getting an easy look up from 3, I think you could stand to just, be a little more aggressive on those closeouts because I know that you have it in you to recover if they try to attack you off the bounce, right?
Right.
Yeah. So again, similar to the hands thing on offense, like not a huge weakness or anything, but just something minor to keep in mind going forward. And maybe you prevent 1 or 2 easy jump shots per game, eliminate 1 turnover per game. That adds up in the long run, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, hey, that's all the film that I've got. Really enjoyed diving into your stuff. I feel like you've been a guy who, you were more of a role player as a freshman and then really started blossoming this year, right? And kind of, became more confident in yourself and what you bring to the table. And I think, the combination of that, some of this kind of recognition of film and obvious, willingness to improve makes you an intriguing prospect to NBA teams. But I want to hear it from you, right? I want to hear from you what you think makes you an intriguing prospect to NBA teams. So who is Feron Hunt? And if an NBA team were to bring you into their organization, what could they expect from you both on and off the court?
Hard worker, great locker room guy. Just always willing to get better. Trying to learn as much as possible, like a sponge. You don't have to worry about me being like late. I'm always like, you can count on me. Just a really solid guy, just trying to get better and be a great teammate and just learn as much as possible, really.
Yeah, and that's exactly what teams want, right? They want someone who, they don't have to worry about off the court. No, they'll be punctual. No, they'll be dedicated to their craft, and someone who can bring it like you can on the court, right? You've got an intriguing game, bring a lot of interesting skills, combination of skill and athleticism to the table, can play multiple positions, kind of fit the archetype of a modern hybrid forward in the NBA. So I'm definitely going to be paying attention to how the rest of this process goes for you and be, rooting for you and wishing you all the success going forward into the pre-draft process.
Yes, sir. Appreciate that. May 20th, I'm deciding on whether I'm staying in or going back to school.
May 20th, that's the date. All right, everybody be on the lookout. Feron Hunt, thank you very much for joining, man.
Appreciate that, man.